Hello， 大家好，歡迎嚟到 Cathy 嘅 CEOProject。咁咧今日咧我就請咗阿 Shane 嚟啦。Shane 係一個人生教練。咁樣咧我哋就嚟講講佢嘅故仔，一個即係外國人啦，喺香港生活咗咁耐。咁講一講佢嘅企業家理念。Okay, Shane, how are you?
I'm great. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's so good to have you here. So today we'll talk about how you get into this industry. Would you mind to give everybody a little bit of self-introduction of yourself first?
Sure. Well, as you know, a long time ago, I provided a training for you.
Yeah.
And when you were younger.
Yeah.
And I've been in the training business now for approaching 20 years. And then prior to that, I worked for a corporation called FedEx, which I'm sure you're familiar with.
Yeah.
And so I basically did the same program that you did when I was young, when I was about 18 years old. And it was very life-changing and transformational for me.
Okay.
And so I knew that was the kind of business that I wanted to get into. Training, coaching, supporting people to achieve and create the kind of life that they want. And so, but obviously I was pretty young at that time. And so I needed a lot more life experience, and so I went into corporate management and started with FedEx and kind of worked my way through the ranks. And once I had some achievement with FedEx, I migrated back to corporate coaching and personal development training programs.
Okay, so then you get into the training programs.
Yeah.
So what was the first thing you want to do in this coaching? What was the driven thing for you to get into this industry?
I think after myself being a student and having the advantage of being in a training program like this, it was so valuable for me that I thought it would be a fantastic way to contribute to other people, and I wanted to share it with people, basically.
Oh, great.
You know, I wanted people to experience what I had in terms of confidence and really beginning to see and live out your potential. And so that was what inspired me to get into the industry.
All right. So what was the mission and vision that you're having today for the future plans for the industry?
I think there's so many opportunities today. One, I think I'm still doing a lot of coaching, individual coaching, which is very performance based and results focused.
Yeah.
So people who want to achieve a lot in whatever their respective business is, I do a lot of that kind of one-on-one coaching.
Yeah.
But I also coach families. I'm working with 2 or 3 families right now in Hong Kong in terms of just having the family work.
Yeah, like family relationship based.
Right, relationship based. Yeah. So it's not really business based, but it's more about having the family dynamic work.
Okay.
Communication, conflict resolution, things like that. And I still deliver personal development training programs and corporate trainings for businesses.
So does the coronavirus actually affect your industry and on your business as well at the moment?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. How?
I think for me and for a lot of people, it was very unexpected. And so I think it was a big wake-up call for a lot of businesses and a lot of people in terms of assuming that everything is going to last forever, assuming that, or taking things for granted. So when this happened, I think it's a big wake up that nothing lasts forever. Yeah. And but that's good news too. I think it's a
wake up call, you know.
Well,
so you start to do a little bit of Zoom, a little bit of filming as well, or you still, because I know the kind of work you do is need to be very like concentrate and be there, be with the person. So is it okay for you to do like online and put it on Zoom?
For some things, like coaching, personal coaching works really well on Zoom.
Yeah.
Or even over the telephone.
Yeah.
But for the live experience, like a transformational type program or even an experiential base, I think a lot of that, the value and the impact of the program is because of the environment that's created.
Yeah.
It's experiential, so there's emotional presence in the room. Sometimes we're using music. We have interaction with other people. And so a lot of the value and the impact of the program is because it's live with people.
Yeah.
And people are interacting. So obviously you can't replicate that experience with Zoom.
Yeah.
So
that takes a lot of.
So that was impacted. I mean, in Hong Kong, you know, we're pretty blessed because the virus situation has been relatively under control.
Yes.
But as you know, I travel internationally and do training programs in different countries.
Yeah.
So that has shifted a lot. I haven't been able to travel internationally.
Yeah.
So I think for me and anybody else that does business that requires international travel, it's required a big shift in terms of where we focus and what we're doing with our time, and it's required us to reinvent ourselves in some way. So for me personally, obviously I focus on my business in Hong Kong, and I use the time I have to develop new programs, new training programs. Right now, developing a training program for your business, which is agents, insurance. Not just finance, insurance, but real estate, sales
meetings,
recruitment.
Okay.
And how to recruit and empower my team building, how to manage them, and really coach them to be successful. So I'm actually in the middle of creating a program that's just focused on that.
Oh, great. So you've actually got more time to build up your muscles and your programs, and it's actually good timing for that.
Yeah, I think it just demands flexibility if you're going to continue to thrive despite the challenges that come with the virus. I think you've got to adjust the strategy and serve the market.
Yeah.
And there's a huge market for this kind of coaching and training, I think.
Yeah. So what is the plan after the coronavirus for you? Starting to travel around the world and start doing training again around the world, or focus in Hong Kong, or maybe in the Bay Area, or something like that?
Yeah, I think first of all, there are some people out there who are saying it's never going to be the same, and it's kind of doom and gloom. I don't subscribe to that thinking. I think this also will not last forever.
Yes, it's going to be just an event.
The virus will pass, and I think a lot of things will go back. And no, I don't think that people are going to live their entire life in a room.
Yes.
There's some people out there who are saying that you're going to do all your shopping online, you're going to do your college online, you're going to do everything online, and I don't think that's true. I think human beings are naturally gregarious people. We like to be around other people, and so I think that a lot of the business will go. Some of it will go back to the way it was. So when you ask me what am I going to do, sure, I think I'll go back and continue to travel and deliver training programs internationally. But I think I will do it with having learned a lot of valuable lessons.
Yeah.
Like things like this can happen at any moment.
Yeah.
And so we've got to have other products. I probably will focus a little bit more domestically since I'm based in Hong Kong.
Yeah.
I'll probably have a lot more programs that serve this market. So I probably won't have such a high percentage of my business being international. I think it's like anything. You got to have a diverse portfolio, not just with
diversify
finance.
the risk.
Right.
Yeah.
So you got to diversify the business and diversify the kinds of products and market that you're dealing with.
I think the family one is actually pretty great ideas to start with, since now the Hong Kong families, lots of them actually have issues.
Yeah.
Different kinds of issues.
Well, family work, was kind of the first niche area that I started in when I got into training and coaching. In the last 10 years or so, I think the focus was more on business, personal development, supporting corporations. But now that the virus challenge has happened, it's given me an opportunity to be present more in Hong Kong, and all of a sudden I have families reaching out to me. And so I don't think I realized.
That's an opportunity. Another opportunity is wake-up call for you.
Yeah.
Maybe you can do some more different kind of area of business.
Yeah, it was totally unplanned. I mean, I think just the fact that I haven't been able to travel anywhere has evoked this opportunity. So I've got families contacting me for coaching, and so I'm beginning to see once again that there's a big market for it.
Yeah.
So I'll probably explore more of that, working with families and doing family type coaching programs.
Yeah. So what do you think is the important elements that the entrepreneurs should have? Because you have coaching a lot of, I think, very successful entrepreneurs on the past decades. Yeah, and then what do you think is the very important elements for entrepreneurs to have, or for yourself to keep you going all these years?
Yeah, I think we talked about this before, and I think it's all about attitude. You've got to manage your attitude and your perspective about challenges. I know that for a lot of people, the virus has caused the loss of jobs and financial challenges, and I know it's painful and it's frustrating and angry. I've had the same emotions, but I just don't think we can stay stuck in it very long. I think we've got to acknowledge how we feel, and then the next question is what's next. Yeah. So what are we going to do? How are we going to handle it? So I think attitude, number one. I've got to believe that I can handle this, and whatever life serves me, I can deal with it, and start working on plans and taking action and utilizing the relationships. Number one. Number two, I think flexibility. You've got to, obviously, like in my case, international travel it's off the table, and so, all right, what's the market that I'm in? I'm in Hong Kong, so what are professionals looking for in Hong Kong? What can I create to serve that market? And so that's why I say spending time developing new programs to serve the market that I'm in.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean by flexibility. I don't think that you can just see yourself in one particular area and that's it.
See different aspects, different areas, essentially.
Yeah. I think
timing to build up the muscles now.
Yes, I think that for human beings, I think its attitude is everything in terms of don't ever think that you're not qualified to do something. I think.
I still remember you told me stop the little conversations on your head. Yeah. I
think find a way to serve the market and become more effective at your job while you're doing it. I think a lot of people sabotage themselves because they have doubts about their own capability and what they can do, versus having a mindset that says, I can handle it, I'll figure it out, we'll learn as we go, and so that would be my advice.
Yeah, all right. So, I'm a financial planner, so as a training, you train a lot of professionals like us. So what do you think is the elements of being a financial planner? Professional attitude, because we have some breakdowns sometimes, when we don't have certain income, the company actually want us to achieve more. So what do you think what do you think the career path in this insurance industry?
Okay. So there's a few questions in there. Let me start with the first, which is...
All right. The first one is, what do you think as a trainer?
Yeah.
What's the main elements as a financial planner like me?
Yeah, I think just to touch on a couple of things that you mentioned.
Yeah.
I think, yes, of course, in this kind of industry, you're always going to experience some pressure to produce.
Yeah.
But I think the first thing an agent can do is not see it as pressure. Versus feeling resistance to the pressure, lean into it. Use the pressure as something that drives me to create results. So I'm not resisting the pressure, I'm seeing it as, okay, there's urgency in this, that I'm taking action and I'm making things happen. So instead of resisting it, I use the momentum. I think, again, it's an attitude and a mindset that makes a big difference. I think also for people in this industry, agents, whether you're in insurance or real estate or anything, is that, as you know, the most important thing is the relationship, and you've got to take care of your clients. And
caring.
I think this is something that everybody mentally understands in the business.
Yeah.
Everybody understands the concept of caring about their clients, but I don't know that it always actually comes through to the client. So I know that we have a lot of pressure to create results and immediately, but I think for insurance agents, they can't lose sight of the bigger picture, the long haul. I think in the end, if you really do take care of your clients really well, and you put yourself in their shoes and you address their fears and their concerns, even if that means that you don't have as big a sale or whatever it is at that moment, I think it'll pay off down the road, because those people are going to be very, very satisfied with the service, and they're going to refer. And I think in this business, as you know, referrals are a huge part of it. So I think, if you care about your people, they're going to refer you.
Yeah, great. So do you think it's a very good career path in this industry?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
especially in Hong Kong.
Yeah.
Especially in this
Hong Kong, because I think in the US it's very different. As like a financial planning, you actually need to pay for consultant fees.
Yeah.
But in Hong Kong, it's commission based.
Yeah, the structure is very different. So the whole approach and mentality about buying insurance or those types of products is different than in America, of course. But so for here, given the way it's structured, I think it's a huge opportunity for people. So one, you have a lot more power over your destiny and how much money you can make, and I think it gives you a lot of flexibility in terms of how far you can go with it.
Yeah.
So I think it's a great opportunity for people.
Yeah. All right. For the last question, as the 70th generation you're from of entrepreneurs, how to place the main values in the now generations? We have 80s on the back, we have 60 ahead of you, and then you're on the 70s. You have 80s and 90s of different generations. So now, what do you think?
Yeah, I've been talking to people about this for a while now in terms of, it seems that generations are identified with certain challenges or certain strengths, attributes. I suppose that maybe my generation, their strength is being hungry. They're very hungry and determined and hardworking, and they're fighters. So there's a lot of commitment in terms of I'm going to do whatever it takes. I'll find a way. Nothing's going to stop me. And really willing to pay a lot of prices if they need to.
Yeah.
I think some of the more newer generations, they have different strengths. I think creativity, technology. They just see things in a different way. So I think to answer your question, I would say play to your strengths.
Strengths.
Right. So I know what my strength is in terms of being very flexible, being very committed, being very hungry. I think for current and newer generations, they've got to play to their strengths in terms of their creativity.
The use of technology.
The use of technology and continuing to develop newer technologies and things like that. So I think be aware of the challenges that are associated with the generation, and there are prejudgments about each generation. There are conversations and judgments, and I think that you've got to be aware of what those are, so that you can properly address
So thanks Shane again for participating in the CEO project. Hopefully to see you in the near future.
Well, thank you again for having me.
For my own team and my district coming.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, I've got to commend you. I mean, this thing is getting bigger and bigger and more exciting. And
yes, it's actually getting exciting. I'm getting growth in my team, and I have the very strong support from my boss, which I really appreciate it.
Yeah, well, so I want to acknowledge you. I mean, this is something that you started out and you've developed, and it's getting bigger. And I think this is exactly the kind of tenacity that people have got to have be successful in this business.
Yeah, we just have the attitude and just kickstart, and then finish the things first, and then perfect as second.
Yeah,
I think
absolutely. You start it and you become great at it along the way, and you make it bigger and expand. So I think you're a good example of what we've been talking about.
Yeah.
So when you first started, you didn't have any idea how big it would get or exactly how you were going to work out all the details, but yet you've handled it, and it continues to grow and thrive.
Yeah, so. It's a very tiring procedure. Yeah, but there's no values, only feedback. So we take feedback and then amend to be a little bit better version of ourselves every day.
I think it's going to pay off for you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Right.
Thanks again for sharing
Thank
here.
You.
See you. Bye-bye.
Bye.